Welcome to RP... Damn it, you had to make noises. Welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I am Elias, Sailor Eli, Warren.
I'm always making noises, Maddie Webbin.
I am Bernard Houck. I never make a noise.
Nope, he's completely silent at all times.
By God, this Bernard will be silent. Like the Drape Runners.
Yes.
Oh.
The first completely silent podcast host. And you know what we put in him? Cotton
balls.
Wow, our start to Twin Peaks is really fast today.
Yeah. That's gotta be a record. I'm gonna miss Bernard so much. We need to make Sam watch Twin Peaks.
We really do.
It's so good.
It is. It's amazing. And then we can open our new podcast, Run Silent Run Podcast. So, anyway, we're playing East, I guess.
Wait, hold on. Combination Blade Runner and Twin Peaks podcast. Run Silent, Run Blade.
Perfect.
That's silly.
It is. Okay, sorry,
yeah.
Go on.
Whew, I am loopy today. Okay, yes, we're playing East. We're finishing up East 2, Ancient East Vanished, the East Chronicles, the Easening.
Books 1 and 2.
Yes.
The final chapter.
385 over 2 days. HD remix.
Jeez. I think we're all a little loopy. Anyway, before we get into that, how was everybody's week?
Time has ceased to mean anything to me, and my sleep schedule has been non-existent. All I've been doing is, phasing in and out of sleep and, doing work from home and playing Animal Crossing, New Horizons, and Pokemon Shield. And I beat the entirety of Pokemon Shield and have nearly completed the Galar Pokedex in a week.
God
damn.
I haven't been doing anything else. My eyes have hurt really bad the past few days is another thing that's happening. I don't know why, but yeah. Okay, I'm done.
Cool.
My week was very similar to Bernard's. Time has definitely lost all meaning. It's funny. I still go to bed at night. I still work my same hours. I still have breakfast, lunch, and dinner at similar to the normal times. But yet, despite that, my weeks are still like amorphous blobs that are not divided into days. Like you'd think they would be because of what I just said. I still follow most of the rules of a day, but I think part of it is just the fucking context of the world and the way that it is, but also and just the weird liminal space that we're all in. But also, I guess just the fact that I don't go hang out with my friends or anything like that, right? I don't necessarily have to follow a normal sleep schedule. I still do, but there's no particular reason, right? It's just feels arbitrary.
Someone on Twitter said that these past few weeks have all felt like the week between Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. That's a good way of putting it.
But yeah, so I'm definitely feeling weird. But I've also been playing a bejesus amount of Animal Crossing New Horizons on my Nintendo Switch video game console.
Time has not lost all meaning for me because I still am aware of when I'm between the hours of 4 p.m. and 9 a.m. because that's when it's theoretically possible to catch a stringfish. Not that I fucking have.
Not that I would ever catch a goddamn stringfish.
Yeah.
Today's the last day, I guess.
Those stringfish.
Okay, how do I put this in Final Fantasy 14 terms? I don't know.
You know how last week you told us how much time you spent fishing?
Yes.
We've been doing that in Animal Crossing, except we haven't accomplished anything because we can't goddamn get a stringfish.
You don't even get to be in the top 100 fishers in,
Exactly.
in Animal
I'm
Crossing.
not. Yeah, I'm in the top infinite fishers because I'm ranked along with everyone else that has caught 0 stringfish. Also, the stringfish are seasonal, so after tonight they're not going to exist anymore. Oh, we just fucking missed it. Unless they're available from 4 p.m. to midnight tonight. They're probably available till the next day cycle starts.
On the other hand, I mean, apparently it is one of the it's tied for rarest fish in the game. Apparently,
Really, a couple of my friends have gotten one already. But well, then again, my girlfriend has got it, and as I believe I mentioned last week, they have gone nuts for this game. Absolutely nuts, which warms my heart because we really have something in common, that we can. I mean, we have things in common, but we've had. I don't know if I shared this on the pod or not. I don't know. We've had trouble finding something to like do together, like an activity to do, like as a couple, because we're long distance.
Yeah,
and like. Because we have similar taste in single player games, but our taste in multiplayer games is, well, both of us just aren't particularly into them.
I was about to say you don't like multiplayer games.
I mostly am not into them, and they don't want to play. They don't want to get Dragon Quest Builders 2, for example, or play Halo. So this game has been amazing, but also I'm sinking so many hours into it, but also like going on dates with my GF on the internet, it kind of feels like a real thing. Like when I have friends over, like whether it's GF or other people, like you get sort of that same endorphins as actually inviting someone into your home and hosting them and making sure they have a good time and stuff. It's like really, really cool and nice how it feels like real interaction. And it is, because there's like the voice chat and all that stuff. So like it's really helping alleviate some of my homie missing, TBH.
I totally agree, and it's especially nice because my island is rad and I get to show that off instead of being embarrassed by the state of my house.
Yeah. It's really weird how much better I am about cleaning and also putting effort into my wardrobe in this video game than I am IRL.
I mean,
of course,
I'm the same way with my houses in Final Fantasy XIV. Like, they look awesome. My real house, not awesome. Not at all. Don't come over to my house. Dear God.
My current house doesn't look great in Animal Crossing because I have too much furniture. So I expanded my house to 2 rooms. I have too much furniture for 1 room, but not enough furniture for 2 rooms. Also, Bernard, have you noticed that this game has a crippling table shortage?
No, I haven't. You can craft some basic tables.
Yeah, but not the kind I want. In my goddamn game and in Collie's, every single time we talk about decorating our house, we're just like, I sure could use an end table. I sure could use a fucking end table. Collie has taken to doing the little single square bookshelves and turn them around backwards to make end tables out of them. But it's like, I'm still using cardboard boxes for end tables, which feels very authentic to real life, which is nice. Anyway, other than that, I've just been vibrating, thinking about Final Fantasy VII Remake, and also, like Bernard said, working and being a weird, sludgy person. I did go hiking with 2 of my friends, not at the same time, and we did stay 6 feet apart the whole time. We were very careful. First hike was fine. It was at a park. It was very nice. Or not a park, like an actual hiking nature park. The second hike was, we decided to go around the lake. Turns out, I know this doesn't really matter, but if you're listening to this podcast, don't go hiking on the lake during the day. Don't go for a walk on the lake because there's 1 million people there. About as many as you would normally see by the lake. And also, none of them have fucking heard about coronavirus.
Oh.
What the fuck?
I was like playing a bullet hell shooter the entire time. People will run at you jogging, and they'll like see that you're there, and they will just keep running in a straight fucking line. And you have to just go fucking around them. It's insane. It's so... The hiking was different. The hiking was, we would see someone on the trail coming towards us, and we'd be like, oh, hi. We'd like wave, and then we would like look for a little place to stand, or they would. And then we would sort of wave them on like, you go first, and they go by, and we kind of smile at each other and hope that, and are glad that we're all practicing good hygienic virus practices. The lake is just insane. It's just everyone there has a goddamn death wish and is selfish and hates you. And most of them are like late 20, mid 30 something cishet white dudes. So yeah, usually with like very, very buff because they're very like athletic, you know, because they're into jogging and they're into probably making deals on the stonks on their Bluetooth.
They're probably so pissed off the gym is closed.
They're probably so, and anyway, it drove me insane. And I'm like, some people, you know.
What can you do?
What can you do? What can you do? Eli, what's up with you?
Well, I went to go get blood drawn for my doctor last week, and I still have a bruise from it. Like a really big, nasty bruise.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I guess they didn't do a very good job. I don't know. Other than that, lots of Final Fantasy XIV. Work from home has given me an opportunity to do stuff on the side that I wouldn't be able to do while I was in the office. Like, I've been drawing more.
Nice.
Yeah. I did a model edit to one of my characters in Final Fantasy to give him some tattoos. Because he has them canonically, but I can't show that because they don't have tattoos in the game.
There's no tattoos in Final Fantasy XIV?
There are on some pieces of gear. And there's a special tattoo that you get if you played in 1.0. Just to show that you were there, you were part of the game before A Realm Reborn came out. But other than that, like, there's no, like, customizable tattoos that you can add to your character or anything like that. Yeah, and one of my RP partners, her birthday was a week ago? Yes, a week ago. And so I was working on sort of finishing a picture that I had been working on for her for months. And it's still not finished entirely, but I finished it enough that I could post it on my Tumblr. Yeah, I've been doing way more art. I've been playing Final Fantasy on the side. And the way that I've been keeping social is by role-playing a whole hell of a lot. Not that I didn't do that before, but I'm doing a lot more of it. But yeah, that's pretty much all that's gone on with me.
Cool. Good job on doing more art. I haven't been doing anything that could be described as productive, so...
Me either. Well, I don't know. If you count, like...
You went on a hike.
That is true. But also, I honestly feel like spending this much time playing Animal Crossing, like, it kind of does double as, like, putting effort into my relationship because I'm spending time with my GF and learning more about them and stuff. So it like kind of counts as productive time.
Yeah, it sort of feels like I'm strengthening my social links.
Cool. So let's talk about Ys.
Let's do. We have a lot to cover this week.
We do. Yeah, what let's see. We got the silver pendant, right?
Yes,
the silver pedant.
What? Oh.
He was like, actually, this is Claria.
Yeah.
So, after we use the silver pendant with the goddess statue, we appear in the west wing of the shrine.
Oh, no.
And before we can make a joke about Aaron Sorkin, we find ourselves in the east wing of the shrine. It's like 2 screens away. As we step outside the corridor, we get a call from Hadat, who says, Adel, there's a boy here to see you. He says he has urgent news. Please come back to the village so we can speak of this face to face.
Wait, is the reason we got from the West Wing to the East Wing so quickly because we were walking fast down a hallway while making quips while a camera was tracking us, so we didn't stay very long there? Okay, I'm done.
But be careful. Get here when you can. Don't rush. You'll let your guard down.
I love that.
I didn't have a lot of time because I had spent most of my time playing Animal Crossing and Pokemon Shield instead of East 2, Ancient East Vanished, the final chapter. So I was following a guide, and the guide was like, you can go back now, but it's a lot faster to not do that. So, and go back later. So I didn't go back at this point. I left it at on red and just kept going. Eventually, we're going in and out of corridors. And we find a door, and we can hear guards speaking on the other side in demon language. So we equip the altar magic, and we go through, and we talk to them, and they say, one says, the key to the water control room is missing. I wonder if Keith took it. And the other one, who I just noticed is named Maryland, says, I chased Keith down this way a little while ago, but he managed to escape through here. So we continue further, going down that way, and we come to a room with a staircase heading down. A demon in front of the staircase says, who I notice is named Charles with 2 A's, says, we finally got the traitor Keith cornered down below. It's just a matter of time until we catch him now. So we head down, and we are in another section of the subterranean canal. Here we find a demon who talks to us if we approach him in human form, and he has a portrait, and he's kind of hot. He says, you're the one who helped me when I was locked in the Bernard Bless lava prison. My name is Keith. I lost control of my emotions, so I ran away from the guards and hid here. You need to contact the goddesses, right? Then what you need to do is go to the goddesses' palace. From what I can tell, though, the only way left to get there is to slip through this canal. Go to the water control room. Once you're there, close the water gates to dam the canal. That's the first step. Here, I've got the key. Take it. Consider it my thanks for your help in the lava prison. I'm going to stay here for a while and try to calm myself. So he gives us the floodgate key. The door it opens is in the other section of the subterranean canal where the runaways' hideout is. Luckily, we can warp there with return magic, so it's not a big fucking federal issue.
Yeah, thank God. They're good about return magics. Like, not the hideout and now the goddess place both have it. It's great.
Yeah. So we go into the room where the lever to change the floodgate is. There are 5 creepy dragon statues in there for some reason. And it's very spooky, but all we do is we pull a lever to lower the water. And, we pull the lever. And now the subterranean canal sections are all connected by the lower area where the water was.
There's one thing I love more than being in a sewer. It's lowering the water level in the sewer, thus changing its topography.
I was just really glad that this was just... You pull the lever once, and now it's different, and it stays that way, and it's not like you have to lower the water, go somewhere, raise it, and all that shit.
No, that shit almost always sucks, unless it's Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask.
Yes.
Well, it sucks in that too, but it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everything in that game sucks, but it's great.
Yep.
I love Majora's Mask.
Yes, it is good. So after a lot of exploring and finding some great equipment, we climb some stairs back up to the shrine and meet Keith again. Keith says, this is the entrance to the bell tower, known as the Campanile of Lane, and the sacrificial ritual is beginning. On the 5th toll, the girl, Maria, will die.
Fuck.
Yes. Zava is lying in wait at the entrance, but I'm not strong enough to fight her. You need to save that poor innocent girl in my place, Adel. Please.
I'm just picturing when Maddie cried out, fuck. I'm just picturing Adol doing that.
Fuck, you hate when that happens.
Yeah.
Adel yells out fuck word after fuck word.
Exactly.
So there are two paths here. One leads to the goddess's palace, and one leads to the Campanile of Lane. So the guide tells me to go to the goddess's palace first, so I do that. We enter and see two statues of the goddesses, and the graphics here are beautiful.
Yeah, they are.
The faint figures of two blue-haired women appear before them, and they say, "It is good that you have come. We have great need of your strength. Now, in order to reach the core of the shrine where we await, you will need to find and use the second pendant. Some of our people have been turned to stone, and one of them carries it. Also enshrined in the campanile is an item called the Dreaming Idol. It can be used to undo the curse of petrification.
Yeah.
First, bring the idol to us, and we shall instruct you in its use." The goddess's palace is a warp location, so now is finally a convenient time to go see the person Hadit mentioned. So we use the return magic to go back to Ramia Village, and we go to Hadit's house, and it's Tarf.
It's Tarf.
Yeah, the little boy we saved who is friends with Keith. So we speak to Tarf, and he says, "Mr. Adel, you're too slow. Come on, hurry it up already." So, it happened right after you left. I saw that guy in the black cloak just outside the village. I was being all brave and sneaky and followed him all the way here. I lost sight of him, though, just after arriving in this village. Mr. Adel, I'd watch out for that guy if I were you. He's real bad news. It seems like the demons really have it in for you too, mister. You've been through a lot. So that wasn't helpful at all. Back to the shrine.
Really
Not
wasn't.
a bit.
Nice. Thanks for nothing, Turf.
Oh, that kid has such an unfortunate name.
Yeah. Maybe TARF stands for Trans Accepting Radical Feminist.
Ooh. I like it.
Yes.
So we go back to the shrine because TARF is useless. And so near the entrance to the goddess's palace is another pathway that leads to the Campanile of Lane. And we all learned the word Campanile for the first time from this game. Inside, we find Zava and two of her minions. And they say some basic-ass villain stuff that you have to listen to every time you fight her.
They really do.
And then Zava turns into this giant, freaky octopus thing. And the minions turn into bats. And the bats attack. And, Maddie, how was this boss in the TurboGrafx version?
It was pretty tough. Although I had a hunch I had missed an equipment somewhere, and it turns out I did. So I ended up getting the I think it was a sword I was missing. And then in addition to that, actually I think I found all that equipment later. I think maybe at this point I just bought. No, yeah. There was some kind of equipment I was missing, and then in addition, I think I might have gained like one level because it was a right at this point the man, okay, so for most of this game, leveling up has been a big slog. It's also been largely unnecessary. So I haven't been doing it, but also it's been a little bit of a slog whenever I have to do it. This time around, no. The area outside the goddess's area, every enemy gives you like 120 fucking XP. And
yeah,
you get,
they give you hella XP.
And most importantly, there's a bunch of them. And they're super easy for me. So it's like almost no danger to myself. So I kind of just wiggle my way back and forth, spawning and despawning and murdering them left and right. It took me, I think 7.5 minutes to get to level up. Actually, I think it took less than that, but I was like timing it right. I was like, okay, how long does it take me to get from this level to this level, right? And then I was like multiplying it by how many experience points I needed. No, sorry, it took me like 4 minutes. 7.5 was later. Anyway, by the time I actually fought the boss again, it wasn't too bad. I really enjoyed it. Really, really fun boss. What's the design of it like for you?
So, there start out being two bats that fly around like crazy and shoot projectiles at you. and you have to run around and try to shoot them with your fireballs. The Hawk Idol is really useful here, or if you found it, the Falcon Idol, which is like the Hawk Idol, but better. And so you have to run around and try and shoot them. You can't hurt Zava at this point, and I believe she's shooting projectiles at you too, so you just have to dodge those. But you kill the 2 bats, and there are 3 bats, and you have to kill them. Then there are 4 bats, and you have to kill them. And then you can finally fight Zava, and Zava herself is actually pretty easy. Once I actually got to that phase of the fight, I beat her in 1 try. But the bats were pretty tough.
Nice. Mine was much more simple than that. It's the boss is in the top of the screen, and the boss is in the top of the screen doing nothing, and you can't hurt her. And there's 4, not exactly bats, more just, I don't know, Delios. And the Delios are flying around. There's 4 of them. And they're flying in a consistent pattern, like a screensaver where it bounces off the corners, and you know what I mean? Just bounces around diagonally.
Like Dark Fact did.
Yes. So there's 4 of them at first. And the only way to hurt the boss is to hurt these things. As you hit them, they don't have health bars, but if you hit them enough, they turn red. Also, they make the "you just hurt them" sound, so you know it's working. And then once you kill one, it takes a chunk off of Zava's health bar. So there's 4 of them, right? Once you kill one, Zava shoots out another. So there's always 4. And what's neat is the first 4 are all kind of at the same, like, angle and trajectory and stuff. Like, in different directions, but, like, same angle. So they're kind of bouncing around in a relatively systematic pattern. But then after you kill the first 4, the next ones that she shoots out are, first of all, they're not timed with the rest of them because they just go out whenever, right? But also, they're at a very different, radically different angle. Funny enough, the ones she shoots off later, I think were easier to manage. I think the first 4 were the most difficult pattern. But yeah, so that's literally it. So you just got these 4 things going at all sorts of different angles, crisscrossing around, and whenever you kill one, another one appears at a different angle, so you have to adapt. And you just shoot them a bunch, and yeah, I really, 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 really enjoyed it. I think after I did my little bit of leveling up, I beat it on my first try, or perhaps second. So yeah.
Cool. So we continue into the Campanile of Lane and hear the bell ring for the first time. The ritual has begun, and some kick-ass music starts playing.
This part of the game is so fucking good.
It is. So we step in past the corridor, and we see Maria chained up on a platform in the middle of a pit. She tells us to leave and save ourselves. We don't do that.
Yeah. On mine, she was just kind of there on the ground. Nothing cool like chains or a pit, but she was on the other side of like an energy barrier, so.
Okay. When you said she was just there, I was like, so why didn't you just grab her and leave?
There was an energy barrier. I'm like, hi. And she's like, help! But don't actually do it, run away. Yeah. Did your version in your game, did this whole dungeon have no enemies?
Yeah.
So this is just a plot set piece. You don't normally get lengthy, elaborate, no combat plot set pieces on games this old. Wasn't really a thing at the time, you know?
Yeah. I mean, when I think of something like that, like, I think of that being a revolutionary thing in Final Fantasy VII, where you climb up all the stairs with no enemies.
Exactly, yeah, that was like a subversion, you know, like a funny subversive thing. And a lot of modern games, especially post The Last of Us, will have lengthy, you know, more thoughtful segments of no combat. More like post Gone Home and that whole indie walking sim craze. But yeah, this game was in like 1988 or something.
Yeah. And, you're just running up this tower, and it's a long way. And as you go, you're hearing the bell toll more times, and this really great music is playing, and it's, like, really cool and dramatic. And while we're going up the tower, we see a chest behind a barrier, so we don't get it. It's also because we're in a hurry.
Yeah, that's the reason. Not because there's a barrier behind front of it. We could never be distracted by treasures in such a time.
Yeah. So we get to the top right as the bell rings a fourth time, and we see dolls. And he says, "Such a brave warrior you are, Adel. I'm truly impressed that you've made it to this lofty height. I suppose I shall do you the favor of explaining to you the ritual you are about to witness. The ancient priests of this land lived over 700 years ago, but their descendants still reside in East today. The intent of this ritual is to root out and exterminate them, for you see the priests' progeny are sickeningly heroic. Those of priestly blood are the most likely to come rushing in, brandishing a righteous indignation. Or perhaps we'll simply get lucky and the priest's descendants will be among the sacrificial victims themselves. In any event, those of priestly descent must be killed. Thus our orders are to cut down all who enter these halls. Now the bell has tolled 4 times. And this last shall be the sweetest." And it says, the bell atop the tower rang for the 5th and final time, cutting the stillness in the air.
Mine, my 4th bell was really good as well, though I forget what it said. 5th one was, the 5th bell rings without remorse.
Ooh.
Yeah, right? It's fucking good.
That is ominous.
All you can do is reflect upon your own inadequacies, your utter powerlessness. I believe you understand, then. Then Dolls disappears, and we rush back down the tower to see if Maria is okay, but we do stop along the way because the barrier that was guarding the chest is gone.
Maria can fucking wait.
Inside, we find the Dreaming Idol. So, cool, we have that. And we rush down the rest of the way to the bottom of the tower, and we see Maria dead. Fuck.
Well,
Damn.
Adel cries out, "Fuck!"
Our perfect streak of saving people has been ruined. But we've got to keep trying to save people anyway, because that's what we do. So we take the Dreaming Idol to the goddess's palace, and they say, "You have brought the Dreaming Idol. You can use it to restore those who are petrified to their normal selves. Please bring the Black Pearl here when you have recovered it. Observe, there is a recess in its forehead. If you place the Black Pearl there, you can awaken the idol from its dream and dispel the curse upon the people." So, if we remember, Tarf had the Black Pearl.
He did.
So, maybe Tarf isn't useless. So we warp back to Ramia.
And we say, alright, Tarf, here's your one chance to not be useless. Lay it on us, buddy.
Yeah. And Tarf is like, "Oh, I fucking lost it." After I got to Ramia Village. There's a hole in my pocket. I guess it fell out.
Never mind.
He's still useless.
Still, we regret to inform you that Tarf is still as useless as always.
Yep. So we ask around the town to see if anyone has seen a Black Pearl, which is just like a tiny little pebble-sized thing, so who would have seen it? But Gorto says he saw a man in a black cloak bend down to pick something up a while ago, and so that was probably it. And we don't like men in black cloaks in these games. They always turn out to be bad. So fuck, that was probably Dolls or Sephiroth or someone.
or darn it, the bad guy from Shenmue, whatever, damn it.
Oh, what's his name?
Lu Bu. Just kidding. That's a different. I make jokes about this character often enough. You'd think I'd remember when I actually had when the pressure was on, but I guess not.
Okay, I'm looking this up.
Fong. It is something Lee. Oh, no, Lan Di.
Lan Di.
That's it. I just remembered it. Yeah. So yeah, sailors, black cloaks, Lan Di, Sephiroth. It's all the same.
Lan Di, who famously wears a black cloak.
No, he doesn't, but it's just similar to me. Also, hey, if the hero in this game does something bad, if he has a recurring habit that he just can't kick, is that an Edelweiss?
Oh, what is Edelweiss?
It's a flower.
And a song.
Yes.
It's a folk song, also featured in the musical The Sound of Music, but also it existed before that musical.
The past few minutes of this podcast have been an absolute disaster.
Sorry. So what happens next in this video game?
So we head back into the shrine, using our Ultra Magic, of course, to get past the guards. And the gatekeepers are like, oh, hey, the meeting is finally over. Lord Dolls apparently recovered something that brought the meeting to a sudden close. What was it, you ask? Beats me. Something extremely important, that's all I know. So we go back to the meeting room, and we're able to enter this time. It's empty. There's no one in there. But the Black Pearl is there. We take it. That was really easy.
They're like, hey everyone, here's the important item I brought to the meeting, and they're like, cool, let's agendize it. And they're like, and then someone else is like, we are not changing the agenda again, you fuckers. And they're like, okay, let's just leave the pearl in this room while we go somewhere else.
It's like, apparently the size of a pebble, so I don't know why Dolls couldn't have just kept it in his pocket.
That wouldn't be safe.
I mean, it didn't work for Tarf.
You gotta put it somewhere safe, like in an unguarded chest.
It wasn't even in a chest in this version. It was just sitting on the table.
Oh yeah, well mine is a furnitureless room, so. Because all these meeting rooms, yeah, because this place is a startup. But yeah, we got the pearl.
This part of the game is weird. Like, it sort of feels like they forgot to put in a side quest. So, yeah, we go back to the goddess's palace, and it says, as the Black Pearl was set within the dreaming idol, a faint glimmer emerged from its darkened depths.
God damn.
And the goddesses tell us, break the curse of our people. The final battle draws nigh. We have called the priest's descendants to come join us here in the shrine. It won't be long before they arrive, and all are gathered in the ancient underground core of Ys. Please hurry to them. Travel to the top of the Campanile, and raise the idol toward the heavens to undo the spell of petrification. So we head back to the Campanile.
Question, what's a Campanile?
It's like a bell tower. It's an Italian word. I think it's like a specific kind of bell tower.
In my game, it was just belfry, so I figured it was the same.
Falcom, or whoever localizes Falcom, seems to like stupid words like this. Not stupid, but unnecessary, obscure words, because it's just a bell tower, but some fucking Andrew Hussey in the group was like, I know the word campanile.
See, I actually really like the choice of belfry for mine, because it's a little bit different than bell tower. It sounds more old-timey and archaic, which I think it literally is, but also it's very, like, rustic, kind of like how I keep talking about the series, how it seems biblical to me. Like, it's not elaborate and pie in the sky, it's just, like, rustic and like, normal and low-key. It's like, yeah, it's a belfry, just like the kind you have at any church. Also around New Castlevania.
So, in the Campanile, we notice Maria's body is gone. And we're like, that's weird.
That's not what should happen with bodies.
Unless someone, like, moved it, or it got eaten or something.
Exactly.
At the top, we use the idol, and there's a bright light and stuff. So, time to check on the runaways. So we warp to the runaways' hideout, because, again, thank goodness, that's a return warp location. And they're okay. But one tells us that Lilia has gone missing. God damn it! Another tells us that there was someone else turned to stone, so we should check on them as well. And you might remember we found who appeared to be Seda turned to stone, so that's probably who they're talking about. Once we have talked with everyone, Keith shows up and tosses in a wing so they can warp back to the village. And there's a cute little moment here where someone's like, oh my god, a demon, we're doomed! Oh wait, it's Keith. So before they leave, Bots gives us the gold pendant, which he found in the Sanctuary of Toll while working in Rastini Mind. And he says, I found it in, what was it called? The Sacred District of Toll or something? And I think that in previous versions, the Sanctuary of Toll had been localized as the Sacred District of Toll, so that might be a funny reference.
In mine, it's called the sacred area, I think.
That's a dumb thing to call it.
I don't know that's exactly what it is, but it is a weird phrase for sure. But it's not district.
So we swear to Bots and the others that we'll save Lilia. Hopefully that'll go better than saving Maria did. And they warp away. So we search the subterranean canal for the spot where we saw Seda before, because we've probably forgotten where that was. But eventually we find him, and he introduces himself and says he came here to save Maria. We're like, funny story. So did we. It didn't work.
And it's not working. And this is every time we go to Solomon's Shrine.
And we go to the Campanile, and we try to save Maria, and it doesn't work.
It never works.
That's a bit of a obscure reference. Seda is heartbroken, but thanks us for trying to save Maria. He gives us his sword because he doesn't need it anymore. He says it was passed down through his family for generations, and that there's also a matching suit of armor in his home, and Hadat will likely give it to you for saving him. Why didn't Seda wear the armor when storming the shrine? I don't know.
Also, why can't he take his sacred sword and go save the goddamn kingdom on his own? I don't know. He's like, well, you're here. I'm done.
Because we have red hair, and that means we're cooler than him.
Disagree.
For the listener at home, I have red hair. Anyway, it's the Claria sword, the strongest sword in the game. We go back to Hadat, and he sees that Seda entrusted us with the Claria sword, so he gives us the Claria armor. He says it was passed down in their family to be given to the goddess's chosen hero.
Yeah.
That's us. Seda apparently hasn't used a wing to get out of the shrine, so I guess he forgot to buy one. But can he get out of the shrine without a sword? No one is asking these questions in the game. So apparently he's just in the subterranean canal without equipment now. Hopefully that's okay. Anyway, we head back into the shrine and go to the goddess statue and use a gold pendant, and we warp to another area. And we go down, and we're in the subterranean canal, and we say, God damn it, we have to go through the subterranean canal again. But luckily it's a really short area, and we find ourselves in the underpass, which is this cool spooky place. And we go through, and we find Dolls, and Dolls says... What voice was I doing for Dolls earlier? Doesn't matter. It was bad anyway. I'm not actually putting effort into these voices, as you might have gathered, so it doesn't matter. Adel the Red, at long last you've come. I never suspected you to be so strong, but this is where it ends. I will utter a prayer over your mangled corpse. The hopes of the goddesses will fall into ruin on this spot. I was born of the essence of magic. No parlor tricks granted you by the priests will have any effect on me. So the battle starts, and we can't use our magic. We have to hit him with our Clarius sword, like it's East 1.
Oh, shit.
So we kick his fucking ass.
Yeah, he's really easy, and I beat him on my first try.
It's so fucking funny. And I'm pretty sure, that's a joke. That's the joke, right? He's like, ha, you can't use your magic. And you're like, fine, I'll just beat the shit out of you with my sword, idiot. And,
I have the Clarius sword.
It takes, it's so easy. There's no way this is just, a balance issue on their part. I love it. It's fucking rules. It took zero effort.
I mean, it didn't take zero effort for me, but I did beat it in one try. And I think I had, half my health left, so...
Yeah, exactly.
So behind where Dolls was before we kicked his ass, we see a giant gem-looking thing similar to what we saw in the opening. We approach it, and we are warped to the core of ancient East. And there's a chest next to us. It contains the shield magic, which I never used.
Really? Huh.
What's weird about that?
Oh, the final boss is so goddamn hard, I can't imagine not using the shield magic.
Oh, it didn't occur to me to try to use it. I just sort of figured, I can't use my magic for this one either. But I guess not. So we step onto a weird platform thing and descend into a freaky technology-looking place. And spooky music is playing. Down a hallway, we see Tarf. He says to hurry up because everyone's waiting for us, and he'll explain what's going on later. And we're like, okay.
Are you going to continue to be useless?
Probably. Further in, we see Maria. She says that Keith brought her here after she collapsed in the tower. Apparently, her bracelet had absorbed all the energy intended to kill her and saved her life. And we're like, okay? Further in, we find a dead end. Keith breaks through a wall and says to come that way. And we're like, how did you get on the other side of that wall? There's no path to the other side of that wall.
Okay.
And the wall wasn't already broken.
Okay, TBH, you know who rules? Okay, Tarf sucks and is useless, but like, shoutouts to Keith.
Keith owns.
Yeah.
Keith is a goddamn G, and he has come through for us so many times in this game.
Yes.
Big shoutouts to Keith.
So we follow Keith through the hole in the wall that he has created, and he says the goddesses await, and Gorto is a bit farther ahead. And we're like, okay, I guess Gordo's here. Gordo was the guard in Ramia Village.
Ah, that's who it was. I knew he was from the first game, but I did not remember who it was.
No, he's from the second game.
Oh, Ramia Village, right, yeah.
So Gordo stands next to a barrier, and he says the goddesses are probably past it, but he doesn't know how to get through. Then he sees something move down a hallway, and he's like, oh my gosh, is it a demon? So we are going down the hallway, and it keeps giving us messages like, something darted through the shadows, something like that. But we follow the darting shadows down the passage, and we find Lilia.
Yeah.
And she says she was drawn here and managed to get through the shrine with a ring's protection. 2 girls gave it to her and told her to give it to the one she seeks. That's us. She gives us the goddess ring.
Nice.
And if we talk to her again, she's like, maybe the ring could break the barrier. And if we go to Gordo, he'll be like, that's the goddess ring. Maybe it could break the barrier. So we put on the goddess's ring, and it breaks the barrier.
What a shock.
Yeah. So that barrier didn't end up being too big a hurdle.
Yay.
So we set through and find ourselves warped to a boss arena from East 1. I'm pretty sure this was the arena at the bottom of the mine in East 1. The door to the dungeon is sealed shut, so we can't just go out and explore the entire world of East 1. But there's another door to the northwest that takes us to a room we might remember that has a large door flanked by 2 pedestals. And in East 1, we couldn't get through this door. But now the pedestals, instead of being empty, have the figures of 2 blue-haired women on them, surrounded by scary magic-looking stuff. If we approach the door, we're knocked back, and some entity that looks sort of like the gem thing from the opening, but also like sort of has a scary skull face in it, appears and says, oh, no, God, this is a long one. What?
Who? Because he's a skull face.
Yes. He says, all hail the power of darkness, all shall pray to the power of darkness. The goddesses have fallen to my strength, and their priests are dead. Humankind has lost its protectors, now all shall kneel before me. 700 years ago, I was but a step from victory when those dastardly goddesses sealed me away in the inky void. My countless years of imprisonment and all those nights of humiliation, endless and debilitating, have at long last come to an end. Now the promised moment is nigh, the moment when demonkind usurps man's place as masters of this world. The moment is here. My brothers, in blood and in arms, heed my call, children. Let us teach humanity the true meaning of terror. But then someone from off-screen yells, not so fast, demon! And 2 people walk in. And one of them starts talking, and it turns out to be Goban, who was, I think, the leader of the thieves in the last game.
Maybe.
He's from the last game. I'm pretty sure he was a leader of the thieves.
That sounds right.
And he's like, I'm sorry to be so late, Adel. Quickly, play this silver harmonica. Its sound will remove the curse on the goddesses. Ys is now back where it belongs, and the priests are in attendance. Or did you forget that I'm a descendant of Tova? And I'm like, I don't even know who you are.
So yes?
It's been like 10 gameplay hours since then.
You had 3 lines.
He tosses us the silver harmonica, and we play it. And like any character in a Falcom game, we know how to play the harmonica. So the magic sealing the goddesses and the creepy skull entity disappear, and all is quiet. If we go speak to the other person who entered, it's Luda Gemma, our old friend, who we remember because of his silly name.
Yep, that's why I remember him.
He has the Claria shield, and he gives it to us. Cool. So we go and speak to the goddesses, and the goddess on the left introduces herself as Rhea. She says that 700 years ago, they sealed the Claria in the ground because it was born of magic and demons, and things were fine until it was unearthed and misidentified as silver. Darkfact was able to use it to destroy the seal on the demons. Rhea says to wear her ring in the battle ahead, as it will weaken the demon. And the goddess on the right introduces herself as Fina, and apologizes for not telling us who she really was before. She says that sealing the demons with magic before only ensured the seal would one day be broken. Both magic and demons must be destroyed. And one of them says that beyond the door we'll find the black pearl that is the source of all magic and demons, and I forget which one says it. I was getting tired at this point. But Rhea and Fina imbue us with the power of the land of Ys, and we're like,
yeah,
cool. We step through the door, and after a long corridor where the floor falls out from under us as we walk, we end up being warped to this scary place, and we find ourselves face to face with the horrible entity from before. And it says, I am Darm. I'm the source from which magic and demonkind alike were formed. My power is that which created Ys, and my power alone can sustain it. I shall consume your very soul, and you shall know true despair.
Good one.
Here, my notes say, Darm is hard.
Okay, so let's fucking talk about this fucking bullshit. Okay, I'm really sleepy. I got 3 hours of sleep. You know why? Because this boss is too damn hard. I'm good at games. I'm pretty goddamn stubborn. I could not beat this guy. I actually fucking gave up, which is a lot for me.
Yeah.
I gave up because I realized that the amount of percentage I was from between where I currently was and beating him was too much. Like, if I'd been getting him down to, like, 1 hit point, I would have been like, okay, one more try, I gotta do this, right? But I couldn't get more than 90% of his health off. Like, So, like, eventually I was just like, and that was even after I took a break to go level up. Something I didn't realize in this game, is that the amount of experience points you get from enemies goes down.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that. Those enemies I told you earlier who were giving me, like, 120, if you're on the third to last level, aka level 60 out of 62, they give you 7.
Yeah. Cool.
And once you get to level 61, which I did, they give you 3.
Jeez.
So I did not go to level 62. But I did go from 60 to 61 thinking it would help me. It helped me the tiniest fucking bit. Yeah, so this boss, okay, so what happens? There's just rocks falling on you constantly. That's just it.
Yeah, in my version, he is flying around, and it's like this black pearl with a bunch of, black wings and a sword and stuff. And it's flying around, and you have to run into it to hit it, just like Ys 1 and just like Dolls. And in my version, at least, like you're on like a donut-shaped arena, and in the middle of the arena, these rocks appear and shoot at you. And they're actually pretty easy to dodge, but the problem is Darm also shoots out these little shmup bullets at you, which are pretty hard to dodge, and it's really hard to dodge both at the same time.
That sounds like I would have had a better time with it compared to mine.
But Eventually, he goes into a second phase where he has, like, angelic wings coming out of him instead because he's a JRPG boss.
Yes.
And at this point, he does different attacks, and they are also, they're like, I actually think they're easier to dodge, but
Easier?
if you just find, yes, but if you just find yourself in the wrong spot, they kill you really quick.
Yeah.
So it's really tough. So, Maddie, what happens in your version? Because it sounds like it's different.
In mine, the battlefield is still donut shaped, although it's a little bit different. It's like it's not symmetrical. It's wide and a little bit thin, and the hole is in the upper portion. So you basically stay in the lower portion. If you go up to the top, you're not going to have any room to like maneuver or react. The bullets or rocks or whatever don't come from the center; they come from the top. So it feels like it's just raining rocks down upon your head. And it's always 3 at a time. Are they at a time? I think they're always at the same time, or at least close to this. They come in like bursts of 3. And they're going in all kinds of weird diagonal directions. They don't always come from the same spot. They just come from the general top of the screen. So they're like crisscrossing and going in different directions, and it's like 3. 3 more. 3 more. Like maybe that's about the tempo of it. And meanwhile, Doom is not flying around but teleporting. So he'll teleport into a spot and then chill there for a couple seconds and then teleport again and then chill there for a couple seconds. And that's it. And it's very, very simple, but it's super goddamn hard because the bullets are just coming at a really weird angle where it's just really tough to get around them. And also, the bad guy teleports fast enough that, like, you know, he might appear and he's too far away, so you just gotta ignore it and wait for him to teleport again. Or the place he teleports into, you don't realize is making you run right into where the rocks are coming from. Yeah, it's just tough. And the reason I mentioned the shield magic is, for my version, the shield magic is utterly essential. Because he hurts you a shit ton and has way too much goddamn health. So the only way you're really gonna get an edge is the shield magic. The shield magic just drains itself. Every second or so, or every little bit, it drains 2 MP, and according to this point, I have 255 MP and 255 HP. So it's draining over time, but and while you have it on, nothing hurts you. But it drains over time, but also whenever you get hurt or take damage, whenever you take damage, it takes a bigger chunk of MP. So I think it takes 7 MP, or there may be more like 5 after you gain a level. So you basically equip that as long as you can until it's depleted. And then you start taking damage, right? And like on my best run, I got him down to 50% health before my ring ran out. But it's just hard to sustain it. Like if I had kept going at that rate, I would have won. But then I would slip, right? And lose it, because it's just a very, very, very fast battle. And also, frankly, a lot of RNG, a lot of luck. You gotta hope he goes to good positions and you get good patterns.
Dark Fact was, of course, very difficult because there was a lot of stuff going on. But the thing was, he was extremely predictable.
Yeah.
So you could just sort of iterate on your...
like you had to be flexible and adapt to weird shit, but for the most part, a lot, like some of the projectiles were somewhat deterministic.
Yeah, and he would bounce around on the screen always in the same pattern.
Yeah.
So you could... It was easy to get better.
Yeah. This one, I did get better, but I don't think I had a run where I got more than 90% of his health off, and I was like, God, this is so fucking hard. Also, I made use of save states for the first time in this game, but not to cheat. I just used save states to skip the opening cutscene because it's too fucking long. But I didn't think about doing that until I'd already wasted like an hour. I was like, wait, I shouldn't be taking like a whole goddamn like 30 seconds or 40 seconds of crossing this bridge and the bridge is collapsing and then some graphics happen. I shouldn't have to do that every single time I fight this boss. What's wrong with me?
Mm-hmm. So I didn't use the shield magic. It probably would have worked. So I feel like a dummy for that. But the only reason I was able to beat this boss is because in Lance Village, which is the village from the very beginning of the game, there is a curiosity shop, and in it there are a few like very cheap items, but there's also an item called an elixir, and the guy's like, "Oh, I don't actually want to sell that. It's this one-of-a-kind thing. There's only one of them in the world, and it is extremely special because it can revive you from a mortal wound. I don't actually want to sell it, so I give it the absolutely absurd price of 60,000 gold, which the maximum amount of gold you can carry in this game is 99,999. And I had not bought anything, I think, since before entering the Shrine of Solomon, and I did not have enough gold to buy it at that point. So yeah, it's a lot of gold. So I went and I grinded gold for a little bit. It didn't take me long to get to 60,000 after that point, but I bought it. And so basically you just equip it and you get a second life bar for this boss. And that's the only reason I was able to beat it.
Nice. I thought of doing that, but the thing is, that's interesting for you, because for me, the walkthrough was like, yeah, don't bother with the life drop. It's not going to goddamn help. Because for mine, everything I just said is if you have the goddess ring equipped. If you don't have the goddess ring equipped, everything happened. He and the rocks move about twice as fast. So they're just shooting at you rapid fire, and there's no way to dodge it. And also, I think everything hurts you more damage-wise as well. So, like, you have to equip the goddess ring, so you cannot use the life drop.
In this game, you have to use the goddess ring as well, but rings are their own equipment.
There you go. That would have made sense. Yeah, not in this game, weirdly enough. Unlike even though the previous one was. But yeah. That makes sense as a design decision. I mean, hey, there's a really expensive item that you've never used. Final boss, time to get it. But I just guess they messed that up on the TurboGrafx version because you can't.
Mm-hmm.
Whoops.
I guess you could have used it for dolls.
I suppose.
So eventually we beat Darm, or we don't. How did Bumpy McSquiggums do against Darm?
I think he two-shot him.
Damn.
What?
Yeah. I was surprised too. Like, he had kind of a rough start, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it was second attempt he got it.
Are we sure there wasn't any movie magic?
No, he tends not to edit his videos. Or at least he doesn't edit anything out of his videos. So, like, all of his grinding and stuff, he just kind of chit-chats and...
Damn.
Like, I've watched him do many attempts at several bosses, but, yeah, he definitely one-shot Doll.
Huh.
The World of long play that I watched just to get the ending of the game. Of course, they do use movie magic on World of Long Plays, but still, the run that they used for the long play, was this version I'm playing, and I just talked about how it's so astronomically goddamn hard, even for someone as stubborn as me. They beat him with like 50% health left.
Jeez.
Bullshit.
And it still looked hard. Like, they were, I could watch them like playing up a storm, And in fact, when I was watching how they were playing and how often they were getting hit, I was like, it doesn't look like they're doing that much better than me. But like, it adds up. Dodging a rock here and there adds up, and it was just excellent play, basically. But it wasn't like pro strats or anything. They were just doing the same thing I did, but better, right? Like, it's not like there was a trick to it. So yeah, like, cool boss.
So, after defeating Darm, there's this bright light, and we find ourselves on this beautiful terrace during the Golden Hour. And the goddesses and the 6 descendants of the priests are there, which, by the way, that's not how descendants work. You don't have exactly one descendant 700 years after you live.
That's funny.
So, there is this very long scene where, gosh, I took screenshots of every line in the scene expecting it to be a lot shorter than it was.
Yeah.
But it's a very long scene where Tarf and Maria and Gorto and Ludijima and Goban and Lilia all explain that they are descendants of the priests. But the most interesting one is there's also this dude you don't recognize, and he's like, hey, I'm Keith. I'm no longer a demon. So sorry if my appearance surprises you. And he's still hot, but he is kind of hotter as a demon.
Yeah, I like it better as a demon.
Same.
So he says, magic has vanished from the land, and with it, so too the curse placed upon me. And he just talks about how, as a demon, he was, like, losing his mind. And he remembered when his sister was killed by the demons, and her last words were that she pitied the demons. And he didn't understand that at the time, but after becoming a demon and when he held the Black Pearl as a demon, he, like, felt like a demon. And he's like, they're just like creatures that can't create, they can only destroy, they're completely ruled by dark desires, and I understand how tragic that is, blah, blah, blah. So, also his sister's name is Marl, which is interesting.
That is an interesting because of the game we're playing next, which is Chrono Trigger, to remind everybody.
Yes. Eventually, everyone is spoken except Fina, and Fina and Adel sort of look at each other, and you can totally tell they're sort of looking at each other, even though it's just sprites.
Agree, yep.
But Maria's like, I think we're third wheels here. We should probably let ourselves out. And I mean, you're not a bunch of third wheels. You're a third wheel and a fourth wheel and a fifth wheel and a sixth wheel and a seventh wheel and an eighth wheel and a ninth wheel.
Yeah.
But everyone but Adel and Fina leave. And Fina's like, there's so much I want to say. I don't even know where to begin. After you rescued me from the depths of the shrine, I stayed at Jebba's house for a short while. I feel like I understand everything now. I never knew so many wonderful people lived in this world. There's no real need for goddesses or priests. And now even the floating land of Ys will be a thing of the past as Asteria becomes whole again. I have so many happy memories from my time here, but the best will always be the time I spent with you. And correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't that like 5 minutes when we took her from the shrine to the town?
Yep. What can I say? Adel's hot. She got smit.
I want you to know that more than anything else. During the time I spent with you, I truly felt human. I must go. Rhea is waiting for me. I hope that you'll think of me from time to time, and when you do, I hope you'll remember me as a girl, not as a goddess. Fare thee well. And like, if you want me to think of you as a normal person instead of as a goddess, ending it with fare thee well isn't a great way to make that happen.
Yeah, why not just say bye, like humans say?
Yes. So she leaves, and there's this ending cutscene that like mixes anime and in-game graphics, and it's great, and everybody reunites with their loved ones, and it's happy, and Adel returns to Lance Village, much to Lilia's delight, and we even see Dogi reunites with Adel and like slaps him on the back, and Adel's like, ah, from being slapped on the back too hard. And we even see the Ruse leave their nest, and they explore Noltia freely because there aren't demons anymore.
That sort of happened in mine, though not exactly, but yeah.
And yeah, there's just a lot of stuff happens in the final cutscene, but it's all like predictable, happy ending stuff. So yeah, that is the end of the game, I guess.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll listen to some music and then go on to memorable moments and talking about the game as a whole.
Yeah.
All right, so who has memorable moments?
So I was a total goddamn idiot. I kept hitting the screenshot button to screenshot my memorable moments, but I was accidentally hitting the screenshot combo that saves your screenshot to the clipboard and not as a file.
Oops.
Oopsie doopsie.
I realized my mistake in the run-up to the final boss.
Oops.
Whoops. So, yeah, there was a number of them that I forgot. I still have a couple, though. Eli, you go first, though.
So I don't have any specific memorable moments. I thought this was an interesting game, though. I'm sorry that I couldn't bring myself to play it. It just would have...
You would have died.
Yeah, a lot. And it would have frustrated the crap out of me, and I would have given up anyway. So, yeah. Because
it's hard.
Unlike Maddie, I'm not afraid to give up.
I'm not afraid. I'm just stupid.
My motto...
It's different.
My motto is go big and give up.
What's that Simpsons line? It's like...
Never try.
Yeah, that's the moral of the story,
kids. Never try.
It's a good moral.
I mean...
Sometimes.
You know, sometimes there are things that, you know, you gotta know your limits. And here's one of my limits, you know? And I wanted to enjoy the game, and playing it would make me hate it. So I enjoyed it more by not playing it.
Nice.
Fair.
Yeah, no, it's totally fair.
So I had a few memorable moments. So even though it kills the sense of urgency, after you meet Maria in the core, you can totally backtrack and go to Ramia Village and tell everyone that she's safe. And everyone has new dialogue for this.
I love that.
And this game just has such an insane amount of dialogue. And similarly, and also I just want to note that it seems like at the end it's just suddenly Gobon is like, Issa's fallen back down to Asteria, but there actually is like foreshadowing to that and like suggestions that Issa's slowly lowering as you go through the game, but it's all like NPC dialogue, never a good place to fit it in my notes.
Also, when you're in the tower, there's a lot of graphics that suggest that, which is cool, at least in my game.
Yeah, so, but apparently, after Gobon says Issa's returned to Asteria, and when you're right before the final boss, apparently at that point, right before the final boss, it's possible to backtrack, go back to the overworld, and apparently, I didn't do this, but apparently, basically everyone has new dialogue about the fact that Ys now isn't floating in the sky anymore. So it's just absolutely wild how much dialogue there is in this game, and I love it for that.
And even this old-ass version of the game does a good fucking bit of that. I at some point during this week's playing, I did go back to a previous area for some reason, and there was new dialogue. It's just, yeah, it's the fucking coolest shit.
Yeah, and apparently that's a huge thing in Falcom's other big series, Legend of Heroes. Apparently just people constantly having new dialogue is a thing there as well. But also apparently those are like actual regular JRPG length, so I imagine their scripts are just horrifying to look at.
I mean, did you ever read that big like Kotaku big expose on like the person or like one or two people who did the big localization project for I think the third game? It was like
I heard they had it rough.
It was like, first of all, it's a phenomenal piece of reporting. It's one of Kotaku's really, really great long, like really deep dive actual journalism type pieces, which they do a really good job of when they had the budget to do them. Like the guy almost died. Like, it was crazy. Like that he got it done at all, and also didn't like either be homeless or like commit suicide or whatever, like, and that's not a joke, that's part of the story. But yeah, it's a really, really, I think it's like 3 million words, something like that.
Jesus,
I think that's what I heard.
Goodness.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
That's a lot.
So this is a really nice touch that I like. After we kill Darm, in this version, at least, it does not immediately warp us to the Beautiful Terrace for our ending. After you kill Darm, you stand there and you have to wait as your MP drains down to 0 because magic is disappearing.
That's cool.
So,
mine was certainly already
yeah.
0.
Yes, but I'd not been using magic because it did not occur to me because I wasn't using the guide for boss fights. But yeah, so I just thought that was a neat touch that you have to, that you see your magic go away. And, yeah, I think that's all my memorable moments for this week.
All right. I had a couple. When you are in the place, I'll just read the one that I actually got screenshots for. When you are in the in one of the areas towards the end, you're still being in villain mode, being disguised as a demon, and the demons start talking more and more about how they're scared of Adel. Like that becomes a recurring and common theme. And I only got one version of it, but it's one of the enemies goes, "I heard that madman Adel has been seen in this area. I don't want to die yet."
Oh,
I know, right? I'm like, oh, fuck. Well, luckily I was killing very few of them anyway, except when I needed to level up. So, let's see.
As long as you don't give good experience, you're fine.
Also, when they're talking about, when I'm overhearing them talk about Keith, the second line is the one that I like, but I'll read both of them for context. I heard that the key to the water control room is missing. Could it be the traitor Keith who stole the key? And the other guy goes, "I was chasing Keith and I was right on his tail, but then he pulled a fast one and I lost him. Sorry, sir." But sorry, there's not two people. There's only one person. He's saying this to you, which is why I find it very humorous. Some beautiful graphics. The goddess area is goddamn beautiful. Just such great uses of palettes in this game. Another great line. "The wizard has cast many of our people to stone. One of these unfortunate souls has the pendant." I just like how they call him the wizard. When you are in the tower, they do cool stuff with the background in this my version of the game. It does like what I can only describe as something that's like parallax, but I think maybe TurboGrafx couldn't like do parallax or something. Wait, that's not true. We could totally do parallax. Anyway, whatever they're trying to do, it looks really jittery and weird, I think, because of technical reasons, but it makes it look even more cool. The game just straight up says, "This is the final battle. Good luck," before you head into the final door.
Nice.
Which owns. And then I'm not going to bother sending you screenshots this time around, but good lord. Oh, one more. When you're talking with the bad guys after the final battle, another good sentence. This is Keith. He says, "Since you eliminated the source of evil, my green goon curse was lifted." Yeah, it's good stuff. Also, this next sentence, I'm pretty sure this next line of dialogue is meant to be the narrator. So when you talk with Fina, it says, "Fina and Adel are gazing into each other's eyes." Now, the next line of dialogue, I think is coming from one of the people in the room, but the game doesn't say who's talking, so it seems like it's just the narrator again. And the narrator says, "Well, I guess we should let them be alone." And I'm like, are they talking to us, the player? Or are they saying like, "Hey, let's not watch this part"? But no, then
Turn the game console off now.
But then the next line is, "That's a good idea, Maria." So I guess that was Maria talking there. Yep. And then just again, beautiful 80s anime graphics. Also during the credits, I was looking at the voice acting. I should have mentioned. I was not exactly dunking, but I was kind of making some jokes about the really cheesy like 80s like King Arthur ass voice acting. It's all mostly very good. It's just a certain style that is very, outdated nowadays. But yeah, I was looking at, so I decided to look at the voice actors to see if I recognize any of them, because they all sounded like maybe voices that I'd recognize. And Dallas was Jim Cummings.
Oh.
Yeah.
Very, very prolific, famous, important voice actor.
Yeah, that was the only one that I recognized, although maybe the other ones, y'all, I don't know. Alan Oppenheimer, Michael Bell, Shannon Beatty, Luis Valance, Bruce Lenoyle, Thomas H. Church, Dan Gilvezan, David Starry, and Debbie Derryberry. I don't know.
No, I don't recognize any of those names except Jim Cummings.
Not off the top of my head.
Yeah, it makes sense. Dallas probably has the most lines of dialogue in the game. But
And also, I mean, you want a good scary villain voice.
exactly.
Jim Cummings
Yeah.
can do that.
But yeah,
He's really good
so
at that.
I thought that was really neat. And
Wasn't Jim Cummings, didn't he play Robotnik in the good old Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon?
I was
the
looking him up last night, and
Sonic
I don't
Sat AM?
know if I saw that on his Wikipedia, but he's very prolific, so maybe I just missed it.
I'm gonna check that.
Dude fucking whips, though. Yeah, overall my thoughts on this game are that it's fantastic. I especially love the Ys 1 and 2 version. I'm glad I played the Master System version, but part of me almost wants to go and play this whole game again to get 1 and 2, because the idea of this being just one game, it feels like such a huge adventure. Like, it feels like we have gone a very, very, very long way from where we started, which is what gives it that, that's what gives the story that epic feeling, right? Where you think back on, oh, remember all that stuff from the very beginning of the game? Wow, things sure were smaller and different back then. Like, and it's especially true when it's like, no, this is literally 2 entire games. They just stitched them together into one consistent story. So, like, you had this whole adventure, and then you went to a new land and went on an even bigger adventure that was even crazier. And then they tie it together in the end in a way that makes it all seem like it's coherent. And it just gets really epic. The graphics get so fucking cool by the end. It doesn't compare. I know technically this isn't an 8-bit game because I'm playing it on the TurboGrafx CD, but like it's still an 8-bit game. You know what I mean? Like it's not going to have the elaborate plot and set pieces of a Super Nintendo game. It's not Final Fantasy VI. It's not Chrono Trigger because it didn't. It's because it's a remake of a game made from an era when they didn't have remotely the ability to do that kind of thing. So like as far as like 8-bit styled games go, those kind of stripped down style games that are always a little bit clunky, always a little bit more sparse than what you'd expect from like a Chrono Trigger type game. This might be maybe my all-time favorite game from the 8-bit era. It's up there at least. It's really fucking good.
Mm-hmm. I did just confirm Jim Cummings was Robotnik in Sonic Sat AM, which is the good one where it's like serious and Robotnik is actually fucking terrifying.
Yeah, it's really good.
Also, I'm sending a picture of Keith in the Chronicles version so Maddie can see what we're talking about.
Oh, nice. Love to see a picture of a hottie. Oh, overall, to wrap up my reflection, sorry. I also would 10,000% recommend this version. I'm sure the version y'all played is also awesome, but if you are interested in playing this game, at least take a look at the TurboGrafx CD version, listen to the music, look at some screenshots or video, and if the aesthetic just bowls you the fuck over, then this might be the version for you.
I really love the Chronicles version, though I'm sure I would love the TurboGrafx CD version too if I played it.
Whoa.
And
dude's hot.
And yeah. And again, for the music in the episodes, I've been pulling from all sorts of different versions of the game. I've been pulling from the Chronicles version, the TurboGrafx version, the Master System version, the Master System with the FM sound chip or whatever version, the DS version, just because the music rules in every version.
The music at the end of this game when you are in the final room talking to the people, like the epilogue, it's like the most fucking chill vibes music ever. It's that's maybe my favorite track in the game.
So yeah, overall, I adored these two games. They fucking rule. They have some like really bad humor sprinkled in, and some like really unfortunate like moments of gross sexual stuff.
Mine doesn't have that,
but they're like just sprinkled in, and they're like Easter eggs, and it's like really weird and out of place.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I was going to give examples, but I don't want to talk about it because it's not pleasant.
The localizers, or perhaps original game makers, people making the expanded version of the game, sounds like they were just having a bit too much fun with it.
Yeah.
It's like, y'all, calm down. Just make the game. You don't have to make every line funny or weird. Like, stop it. Come on, just chill.
Yeah. But yeah, I love these games. They're on Steam. They're like probably pretty cheap and probably go on sale a lot. So yeah, buy them and play them because they rule.
Yep. Yeah.
And also maybe if you buy East games, maybe they'll localize East 9.
Yep. If you want to play the TurboGrafx CD version, it would also behoove you, yes, to pay money for the Steam version. That way you can feel like you're doing good ethics in so doing. Yeah, I'm very strongly considering if I can fit it into my loaded game schedule of, oh god, Animal Crossing, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Chrono Trigger. If I can fit it in with all those, I'm very much wanting to play East 3, frankly. Some version of it.
Yeah, I want to go on to play the rest of the East series, but I don't know when I'll have time because, yeah, there's lots of games coming out soon
also,
that I also want to play.
Quality jump from East 1 to 2, enormous.
Yeah, like East 1,
and
I
loved East 1.
Yeah, East 1 is great, but East 2 is like a whole different level.
Well, East 1 is, again, like I said before, just like, it's got that classic bare bones Dragon Quest sort of vibe to it. East 2 is like so much more elaborate. There's so many more, there's graphics, there's set pieces, there's crazy drama moments. There's just so much more going on, you know?
Yeah.
Great. So, like, imagine if that quality curve keeps going. I no wonder everyone was losing their bonkers about East 8. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it makes sense that these games are all great. So, hell yeah, good job, Falcom.
Yeah. So next week we have our movie night, for which we are watching some portion of the East anime. There's an anime based on East 1 and 2, and I don't think we've set in stone how much of it we're watching, because watching the whole thing would be too much.
Yeah, sadly,
so maybe we'll just watch the East 1 portion, or we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll figure it out before this is posted, and Sam can put it in the description.
Yep. Hell yeah. We'll figure it the fuck out. That'll be next week, and the week after that, we're moving on to Chrono Trigger. Finally, getting that game ass started.
And Sam will be back.
Sam will be
Huzzah.
back. Bernard will be
And
unback.
I'll be gone forever.
Probably not forever, but yes. Banished. Ancient Bernard
Blocked.
banished.
Yes.
But yeah, no, it'll be a good time. So please keep an eye out for what portion. I mean, you can just watch the whole anime if you want. We don't care how much you watch, but definitely watch some of it for next week's movie thingy, and get ready for some goddamn Chrono Trigger. And if you've been playing along, thank you so much for joining us for playing this lovely game.
And thank you so much for having me on the podcast to listen to me talk about the game.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, absolutely
Glad to
love
have
having you. You did a great job with your voices and your notes and all of that stuff. Yeah, you kicked ass.
Cool.
You want to do our outro then, Maddie? Since you're better at it than me.
Sure. Once again, thank you for tuning in. If you're liking what you're hearing, you should check us out at rpgbook.club, which has lots of nice links, including a link to our Ko-Fi, ko.fi/rpgbookclub, as well as links to our Twitter at rpgbookclub, email rpgbookclub@gmail.com, etc., etc., etc. We're basically RPG Book Club everywhere. If you want to join our Discord, you totally should. It's a really, really nice community, especially right now when we're all just exchanging Animal Crossing stock prices. There's also a link to that in the description, and also at our website, once again, rpgbook.club. We also have like merch and stuff. If you decide to be a regular supporter of us on our Ko-Fi, you get various bonuses. You get to vote on what game we play next, except when we're deciding to play Chrono Trigger. You also get you get some exclusive content, and you also will help push us towards our stretch goals, which means we do bonus episodes. So thank you to all of our existing contributors, and if you want to be one of them, then we will give you a big ol' shout out. We give people shout outs for like nothing, so you can just say hi to our email and we'll give you a shout out. So like, really it's a pretty low bar, but still, we love to. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Now no one's going to donate. We love to hear from y'all. I think that's everything. Yes. So yeah, join us next week for movie, and join us 1 week later for Chrono Trigger. Start gearing up to find some way of playing that game, because it's an all-time goddamn classic. If you've already played it, you know what? Time to play it again. It's got 12 endings, or 16 endings, or however many endings it has. So get ready to play it again and get the same ending you got last time, because you like it that way, god damn it.
And it's not even that long.
And it's not even that long, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that is everything. Thank you so much. This has been RPG Book Club. I'm Maddie Grace Webben.
I'm Elias Sailor Eli Warren.
I'm Bernard Hauk.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.